Welcome back to Crescent City Community College to work on your master's in the Maasverse. Our current course is focused on Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah Janet Maas. Today, we're chatting chapters 25 through 32. Yes, I was thinking Maas.
I totally ruined her name for us because I fucked up saying it. Now when I say Sarah Janet, I can't say her last name because I'm always like Maas.
Maas.
Warning, while we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around ears.
Just around ears. Not any ears specifically, not just little ones. Okay?
Around little ears or ears that may be affected because we say bad words and shitty things. There will be spoilers for A Court of Thorns and Roses and some for Throne of Glass as we tie things in and connect the dots so you don't have to. We will only have spoilers for the current Crescent City we are chit-chatting about. Reminder that thoughts, feelings, theories, and just things we say can evolve, change, be debunked, or just be completely off the rails. Regardless, it's all for fun and not that deep, especially since we will be tailoring our theories to the current book. Now, relax those shoulders, unclench that jaw, clench that clam, and let's get into it.
Chapter 25. Hunt was beating himself up for his royal fuck-up for taking Bryce to the crime scene, as well as admitting she was on his suspect list, while he trailed from the skies. Justinian called and gave him the 411 about the Crystallos, which was a whole lot of nothing. Vic called to confirm the Viper's alibi, and then Isaiah called to confirm the victim in the alley was in fact the acolyte. Bryce got a phone call, and she turned towards Old Square, the White Raven. Hunt went inside and saw Bryce downing her drink. He made himself at home at her table and noticed she wasn't alone. Juniper had called and invited her. Hunt got humbled yet again when he realized that Bryce was downing water, and she told him she no longer drinks. They had a heated exchange, and Bryce quickly exited for the bathroom. Juniper went with her. Rune showed up because the owner told him she was there and he was worried about her. Hunt looked over at Bryce, and she was mean-mugging the fuck out of Rune. And then the club exploded. Dun, dun, dun.
And go boom.
Mm-hmm. It went boom, boom. Just want to say that when Hunt asked if he could have a burger in front of Juniper, he wants some brownie points. He's an asshole. He's an asshole, but he's like respectable, you know?
When I was listening to this chapter, I was like, damn, that was so thoughtful and respectful. Thoughtful and considerate is the word I was looking for.
And respectful.
Yes, all the things. And, I was just thinking like, wow, this same considerate idiot can have verbal diarrhea to Bryce calling her a suspect. He also reflected on bringing Bryce to the murder scene. So he did get points for that. Like, he's trying.
Yes.
I do make points for redemption, which this is a wild episode for me and Hunt.
But not like
our personal relationship.
It's been wild to watch.
Rune and Hunt have a bonding moment over getting to know Bryce, or realizing like how much they don't know about her. Rune said she stopped dancing and Hunt said she stopped drinking. And I think it's really showing a sign of friendship blooming. And I think that's really lovely considering they are assholes to each other. This is the start.
I just like that you said lovely. I think it's really lovely.
When I was writing this, I was like, I think it's beautiful.
So let's go into some White Raven lore. In Greek mythology, ravens are associated with Apollo, the god of prophecy. They are said to be a symbol of bad luck and were the god's messengers in the mortal world. According to the mythological narration, the god Apollo once tasked a white raven to spy on his pregnant lover, Coronus. When the raven brought back the news that Coronus had been an unfaithful slutty slut to him, Apollo scorched the raven in his fury, turning the bird's feathers black. In some version, the raven had once been a man named Lycius, who was transformed into a white raven by Apollo when savage donkeys attacked him and his family. I just really wanted to add the savage donkeys because I found that funny.
I took it so personal because where I live, donkeys are wild.
You do have wild donkeys.
which is just really random. But
Mhm.
I'm like, how dare you? They are not savage. Like, people are mean to them.
So then I want to look at when else do we see ravens in the Maasverse. In ACOTAR, we have a few mentions of ravens, most famously when the hibern twin ravens, Elaine predicts they're coming. Twin ravens are coming, one white, one black. They describe themselves as we're the king's ravens, whose far flying eyes and talons we've come to take you back. And then earlier on in Athalar, Reese put on a crown that had raven feathers. He wore this to go to the court of nightmares. And then in Tog, Dorian turned into a raven when he was working on shifting, and that's what he flew into Marath as. So those are just the only raven things that I could find in the Maasverse. But I did find the Greek mythology interesting for the white raven.
It is because it's a symbol of bad luck. Dorian turned into a raven when he was working on shifting, and that's what he flew into Marath. Marath was not a good time.
No,
Total symbol of bad luck. So very spot on. But going back to White Raven, I love that Hunt was almost not let in. They're just like, tough shit, lines on the right. Like the big badass Umbra Mortis of waiting in line.
he's like, no, not cool enough.
You can't sit with us. Chapter 26. It got Buck and the White Raven real fast. Shorty dropped it to the ground like she ain't got manners. Too much booty for one man to handle. Right on over Juniper's body. Listen to DJ Felly Fell, get Buck in here. That's my
Great.
recommendation.
It's a great fucking song. Kai and I, big fans.
Bryce hadn't made the drop yet, and so Juniper was pissed and yelling at Bryce. Hunt, being a man of reason, my God, I a little turned on by Hunt as I write this. It's the most confusing Lady Bunner for me that I've had since the time I had a sex dream about Steve Carell in high school. I think I told you about it, but after high school, I was so embarrassed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you did.
Hunt told Juniper Bryce was shell shocked and bleeding from her ears. Hunt got Bryce out of there and to Rune's scuzzy ass home and started tending to her wounds. While tending to her wounds, Bryce told him why she protected Juniper, and he noticed that she hadn't had the scar healed while she was talking.
Bryce is a good one. Not only was she willing to sacrifice herself for her friend's career, she's also funny as fuck. She was like, when males are kneeling between my legs, Athalar, they're not usually grimacing, which I just love that she's constantly fucking with Hunt. But most importantly, I want to talk about Steve Carell. So he's a fucking silver fox now. And he was not like season 1 in The Office. No, thank you. Season 2?
No, the slick
No,
back
thank you.
hair.
No, the slip back hair in season 1 was just hard. But when I watch later seasons, he is starting to get hot. He's not hot yet, but he's starting. And then especially like with his movie career, the one with Ryan Gosling, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Emma Stone's in it and Julianne Moore. What is that movie? Anyways, watch it, everybody. I can't tell you what it's called, but watch it. But he's fucking hot now. Like when he was on the morning show,
Controversial, but even in 40-year-old virgin, he's not bad now. I don't think high school me would think that, but me now, I'm like, not so bad once he like is trying to get laid. He's
after he yelled Kelly Clarkson, I'm like, okay, you're kind of hot, you know?
yes. With Kelly Clarkson is what did it for you.
It's the Kelly Clarkson. Yeah,
It's
no,
the man o' lantern really got
Mhm.
you going. Revs your engine.
Really got me. Mm-hmm.
My sex dream for him was just Shadow of the Four. It really was. I'm a witch. I predicted he was going to be a hottie for us in our future.
Spot on. Good job.
They start talking about who done it, throwing out the possibility of it being because they're looking into the case or possibly remaining members of the Kara's group looking to start some shit in Nathion. Bryce tells Hunt she wants to go home when Rune busts in. He's like, you're not going to like this. And he tells her signs point to the human rebels, even with Briggs being behind bars. He tells her next to the logo on the crate was a branded image. My team and your team thought it was a warp C for Crescent City, but I looked at the footage at the storage area before the bomb went off. It's hard to make out that it could also be depicted as a curved horn.
The Human Rebels gang name is the Karis group. So I looked up what Karis meant, and this is what I found. In Greek mythology, the Keres are female death spirits associated with violent deaths, diseases, and on the battlefield, often depicted with fangs, claws, and bloody garments. They're sisters of Thanatos, peaceful death, and the Morai, which are fates. And though they do not cause death, they are drawn to the dying and feast on the remains of the deceased. Just put a pin in this. I'll be back in a couple paragraphs.
We can't give you guys too much at once. We got to give you little nugs.
We're just like a breadcrumbing.
Stay with us. Bryce wants to know what the horn has to do with the human rebels and if the horn was a message to them. So they decided it's time to talk to Briggs, but it'll take a few days to get him cleaned up for gossip hour from the Adrestia prison. Silly fun fact. Adrestia, sometimes overlooked in the vast landscape of Greek mythology, stands out as the goddess of revolt and an embodiment of balance between order and chaos. Her very name means she who cannot be escaped, highlighting her role as an unavoidable force of fate and retribution. Great name for a prison.
Agreed.
Rune then tells Bryce that the sexy Thottim King knows Rune is the other half to Bryce's Mary Kate and Ashley as detectives on an adventure and wants to know what she will do with the horn if it's found. He also lets the bomb drop, which hope it's not too soon after the White Raven, that Daddy Thottim wants Bryce to have a guard and Rune has volunteered as tribute. Bryce tells him over her dead fucking corpse and that Athy will move in. When Rune said he won't like that, so Bryce responded with, he didn't say who the guard had to be. The bastard should have been more precise with his wording. It just proves that Faye's so particular about wording with loopholes. Honestly, between Faye and Gloria, I'm like so much more conscious of my word choice. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say.
Therapy in fantasy books. Congratulations, everybody.
Changed my life for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs therapy when you have Sarah J. Maas?
Good job. You did good.
Hunt is starting to realize that their shit is too entwined for just cousins. Before Bryce leaves, she asks why he was at the White Raven. So Rune avoids the real reason being that he was keeping tabs on her and says he wants to check out Jessica's library. Bryce is like, what library? Rune tells her he keeps thinking about the library and gets Bryce to admit there is one and she will use him and she will let him use it if Declan is at her disposal. He agrees, and so she asks for intel on Danica's last moments. After she left, Daddy Thottim calls and tells Rune to keep an eye on that girl and that he does not want the angels getting the horn. He's more of a prick and then hangs up on Rune. Rune didn't care that he was a prick since he kept thinking about the oracle saying, the royal bloodline shall end with you, prince. It's my oracle voice.
It's a little bit Gollum, but I get it. I got
I feel like an oracle would look a little Gollum-y,
probably. Mm-hmm.
Daddy is adamant on the angels not getting the horn. That's weird, yeah? Like, specifically the angels.
I think he knows they're evil.
He could see, I think he can see things. He may be a dick, but he's a dick for a reason.
The best
in
kind
my
of.
humble opinion. I need a moment because barf at what I'm about to say. But God, I was trying to sell my sister on Hunt and where he was redeeming. Another example, Bryce scowled, but it morphed into a wince as she got off the couch. Athalar keeping a hand within easy reach of her elbow should she need it. He's just there for her, and I hated him so much that I missed all these little moments. But the fact that, like, I'm trying to convince my sister that Athalar is, why did I government name him? That Hunt is a homie is concerning.
Yeah, I think it just really proves what a miserable bitch you used to be. Yeah.
Have you just been waiting to call me that?
No. I didn't think you were then, but now I'm like, how do you were miserable?
Like, damn, he's doing cute things.
You didn't want to see it. You were too mad.
No, I was refusing. I want to remind you guys that he lied. By he, I mean Rune. Lied to his dad about what the oracle said and told him that the oracle said that I would be a fair and just king. The just so everyone knows, the ritual had once been to foretell marriages and alliances. Today is more to get a feel for a child's career and whether they'd amount to anything. For Rune and for Bryce, years later, it had been a disaster. So just in case you guys forget why we go to the oracle. By we, I mean they. You can come to me. I can be an oracle. Challenge with you, Prince.
I mean, you are. You said that Steve Carell's going to be a hottie, and you were right. I mean, you didn't say he was. You just fucked him in your dream. But still, that was foreshadowing.
God, to be in high school and have that dream was... I thought something was wrong with me. Something was. Something still is.
Yeah. But, like, if you had a sex dream about Steve Carell now, you'd be like, it's okay.
That's fine. That's cool. What's up,
Yeah.
Daddy?
He is a zaddy. I brought up the Karas earlier, and they're sisters of Lord Thanatos. Well, there's a mention of Thanatos and Athalar. Kier, which sounds similar to Karas, said the Lord Thanatos is having issues with his daughter again. In Greek mythology, Thanatos has a daughter named Aranis, who's the goddess of vengeance and death, also known as Furies. That sounds like someone we know named Fury. I think there's somebody in this story who's mysterious and has that same name. Maybe we should continue to build on that.
I think you planted a lovely seed.
Thanks. Lovely. Chapter 27. Bryce and Hunt walked back to her apartment. She told her doorman that Hunt would be staying there for a while. Once they got to the penthouse, Bryce realized that her keys were in her purse that was now at the White Raven. Hunt asked why she hadn't made the drop yet. She explained she was waiting because her and Danica picked 2 years from now to make it together. Once they got into the apartment, she continued that Connor and Thorne were going to anchor them. Hunt wanted the tea if Danica and her were lovers. She told him no, but her and Connor were complicated. When all of them died, a light went out in her. Okay, so somebody posted, this is not anything, online, that if you listen to Taylor Swift's album, the new one, listen to the song Ruin the Friendship, thinking about Connor and Bryce. It's so sad. So just be sad and go listen to it. And now, this is the second time in this book, Sarah Janet has said that the light went out within her when they died, which really, I do believe is a callback to Light It Up.
Yeah, Bryce has no one to light it up with now.
No, I mean, she's starting to get somebody.
This is a fucking sad book.
It is. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get into it, but I literally cried like the last 20%.
I might even cry when we cover that chapter.
Yeah, you guys might see me sob because I've like had a tear for a book, but I sobbed at the end of this book.
I might have to throw in a lot of jokes that aren't appropriate at the end of this book to get through those chapters because it's going to be hard for me.
We can all cry together. Group cry.
Group cry.
But as the queen of transitions, I'm going to jerk off Hunt.
Okay. You know, somebody should talk about more how great at transitions you are, you know?
Queen of them, you know?
Uh-huh.
More could be a queen of bad witches, potentially, and I'm the queen of transitions.
So tell us more about you jerking off Hunt.
So he noticed she's barefoot. He's thinking she must have lost her shoes in the explosion. He debated offering to carry her again or suggesting that he fly them to her apartment, but she held her arms so tightly around herself that he had a feeling one word would send her into a rage spiral with no bottom. After the whole finding out that she purchased Syrinx, he is taking in Bryce so differently. He's looking for the positives instead of just honing in on all the negatives, and I'm here for it.
You are such a softie with Hunt now.
Hell has frozen over. Hell with one L has
I was going to say hell with one L or two.
One L, 7 levels. They've all frozen over.
Oh, damn it. You beat me to it. Before Hunt could tell her that he understood that grief, he was saved by the bell. by a home phone ringing. God, home phones, missed those days. Ember called and Bryce told a few white lies about her whereabouts. Hunt asked her why she lied and she said to protect her mom from worrying and it's not safe here and wouldn't want her to come visit. Bryce tells Hunt that she needs to find out who did this because if she doesn't find out, it will eat her alive. Hunt admitted the deal that Micah offered him. She didn't judge him, though. He apologized to her for judging her and for having her on his suspect list and thought that she was just a party girl. Bryce says, "There's nothing wrong with being a party girl. I don't get why the world thinks there is. It's easier for me when people assume the worst about what I am. It lets me see who they really are." While Bryce showered, Hunt went and got them burgers, fries, and shakes. Fries and shakes. After dinner, he went to the guest room and snooped before going night-night. So when Hunt was snooping, he saw the picture of Bryce and Danica. And on the back of the jacket says, "Through love, all is possible." He said it's an ancient saying that dates back to some god, Chthona, not Sithona. That's Sithona with the list. Chthona, probably, with all her mother goddess stuff. Hunt stopped. None of the 5 gods have ever helped him or anyone he cared about. Erd, especially, had fucked him over often enough.
We have the exact same places highlighted.
Love that for us.
Interesting little spot. It's the 5 gods has me so curious. Like, is it the 5 gods from Throne of Glass? Are they the 5 gods from, or they're 5 gods from ACOTAR? I want to compare notes.
That shall be something we do because we obviously already believe Luna and Deanna are the same. So now we have to start doing some detective work on these gods. I just thought that it was interesting saying mother goddess about Chthona, just the mother. So we'll have to look into that.
We sure will. I want to give another shout out to Sarah. I'm not going to say her full name, but the author of this book, because she's not going to put us through trauma again. Because Bryce told Hunt, "I'm going to take a shower. Guest room is yours. Use whatever you need." She is not going to make us go through the soap trauma again.
No. Once was
Not
enough.
that lavender.
No. Never get over it.
Chapter 28. Hunt woke up ready to fight because he smelled a male in his room. Say that 3 times fast. Alas, it was just Steering's, despite the fact that he closed his door and it is now wide open. The apartment was suspiciously quiet, so Hunt was pre-pissed, thinking Bryce left without telling him, but she was sound asleep in bed, face down, ass up. He was creeping a little and looked at the tattoo on her back. Juniper popped into the apartment and scared the shit out of Hunt because he didn't know she had a key. She caught him creeping and just strolled past him with breakfast for Bryce and asked him to give them privacy.
So I need to know that my ADHD really got me here because you said he closed his door and is now wide open. So the entire paragraph, I'm like, arms wide open the entire time. Like just on loop.
There's a lot of songs in that.
Yeah.
Arms wide open, face down, ass up.
I also want to mention the tattoo. Tattoo down her back, scrolling beautiful lines and some alphabet. That's interesting. Alphabet he didn't recognize. Wonder what that alphabet could be.
It's Dutch. Just
Dutch.
confident in that.
Dutch.
If it's like from Amryn days, like Old World, then yeah, it could be like Hebrew. Hunt dropped some Eve while Juniper and Bryce talked about what happened and how there's the speculation human rebels did it. The White Raven is very much wrecked and it'll be a while before it's open again. The shit is so bad, even Furia is probably going to come home. Juniper starts asking about the gorgeous angel making Bryce coffee, which tickled Hunt's fancy to not be the Umbra Mortis, the knife of the archangels. They rag on Hunt a bit since they know he's eavesdropping. They know he's dropping some eaves. Hunt confirms it for her. Juniper leaves, but not without telling Hunt to do his job, aka keep Bryce safe.
So Riso, despite his laughing nature, when the butterfly shifter got pissed, he went all in. Totally relatable. Riso in Italian means laugh or smile. And this butterfly shifter, do you now that I know that this is Italian, I think my inner Italian's like, he's a fucking mobster. Like, I just picture him being like swaggy and I like it. That's all.
I think of risotto, and so I just think of him as food. I'm picturing risotto. There's nothing else. Like, I know he's a butterfly shifter, but like, nope, he's lost me.
He's
He's a
just
bowl of food.
risotto. Just picturing
Just
a plate of
risotto with wings.
risotto with wings going around, just playing poker like he is a busy risotto dish.
His like risotto hand comes out of the bowl to
Mhm.
hold the cards. It's
I'm kinda
exactly
hungry
what,
now.
and it's a magical world, so it's not impossible.
No. Improbable maybe, but not impossible.
I love that we were on the exact same frickin' page. The fact that I just said frickin' instead of
Yeah, you're like, "No, no ears should listen to this podcast, not just little ones."
no ears, just little ones should listen. Hunt asks for a set of keys, but Bryce says no and calls him an alpha hole. He doesn't know what that is, but don't worry, we will tell you. It's when your favorite hobbies are brooding, fighting, and roaring. You've perfected about 30 different types of snarls and growls. You've got a cabal of hot friends, and the moment one of you mates, the other fall like dominoes too. And God's help you when you all start having babies. Hunt tries to Hunt tries to deny it all and gaslight Bryce about dressing scandalously in her own apartment. How true is it though? Like the hot friends, the moment one mates and they all fall like dominoes.
All of
It is
John's
so true.
friends got married in a year and a half.
Well, I was
Half
thinking like ACOTAR.
half of us got divorced, half of them did pretty quickly. But half of them, it was like a year and a half. They all got married. So dudes be duding.
In the Fey realm, at least. This is where I was going.
Not me.
Like they do. They start dropping like flies. Everybody like finds somebody. All these mythical mates that are so hard to like find, they all find them. Bryce was spot on.
See, face, just like us. Sorry. All right. When he says, the last thing I want to do is fuck you, I feel like readers everywhere are like, you sure about that? Like, you sure about that? There's so many, like, will you guys just fuck already? So annoying. But like,
The sexual tension in this book is tight. There is so much sexual tension and it doesn't even fucking like really explode.
no. Hunt
Nobody
does.
is coming in this book. Not
No.
often, at least.
No.
I don't think you were ready for that from me.
No, I wasn't quite, but I tried to like act like I was fine.
Hunt just demands a set of keys and tells her that he is not an alcohol. He is just wanting to make sure she doesn't end up dead. Bryce gives no cares and just tells him, "Don't ever eat my croissant again and stop calling me sweetheart." They are officially inseparable. The way that I enjoy their banter now that I don't hate Hunt, he's like, stop, or Bryce is like, "Stop cursing so much. You're upsetting Syrinx." He leaned in close enough to note gold flecks in her amber eyes. "You have the dirtiest mouth I've ever heard, sweetheart. And the way you act, I think you might be the alcohol here." Like, I'm so into it. Little turn on by Hunt.
Gold flecks in her amber eyes. Gold in eyes reminds me of a gold ring with our girl Aylin. It's interesting. Gold around the
Very
eyes.
specific.
Mm-hmm. So she tapped her nails, and what color were they? Dusk sky nails. Dusk. Weird.
Where would you connect dusk with?
Mm. Where? Where, guys? Chapter 29. Even though it was Saturday, Bryce had to go to work. So Hunt followed her to work, noticing a lot of details about Bryce for someone that has zero interest in fucking her. Hunt decided to ask the lore about her and her cousin. This is a Joey explanation. Explanation? Quotation mark. not an exclamation point. They're two different things. This is an educational podcast. I'm here to teach you guys about punctuation marks. Fucking idiot. She tells him that they were close while she was a teen for a few years, but they had a huge fight and she quit speaking to him. He asked her if she ever speaks to her father, and she told him not unless she has to, and she probably hates him more than anyone else in Midgard, minus Sabine. She asked him who he hates the most, and he tells her Sandriel and gives a brief overview. Bryce tells him if he ever wants to talk about it, she's there. He tells her likewise. These two are getting friendly is so cute at the gate because they definitely don't want to fuck at all. At all. He mentioned something. He mentioned something saying the clothes, the hair, the makeup, they were like leather and steel and guns. He donned every morning, armor. And as girls, that is so true. Like when you get ready and you're wearing an outfit, you're like, I can fucking take on the world. I mean, I wear sweats most of the time, but
Bryce is fierce and she's hot. Like, and it's emphasized like how hot she is this entire time, and it is. It's the distraction. It is her armor to make everyone think she's some dumbass, and she's not. Smart gal, real smart gal.
So they described the old square gate as the quartz gate was almost ethereal, like it had been carved from ancient ice. So little nugget, little tit of a bit.
Probably was.
Probably was ancient ice. Who's to say?
Who knows? Maybe we'll dive into this. Who knows?
Maybe. Why choose?
I know we don't get much on chimeras, and like this is not even that relevant, but for the rest of the books, but they're so fascinating. Chimeras were volatile pets prone to small magics and biting. No matter that Syrinx seemed more interested in whatever food he could swindle out of people. Like, I feel like he would have been a pickpocket in France. And like the fact that he just like can open doors, it's almost like a tiny man lives inside him, like a la Ratatouille, controlling everything.
With the things, yeah, I could see that.
Oh man, trapped inside him. And he's got that tattoo to keep him inside. It's like, wow, that's actually really depressing.
I know. You're like, I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay.
This is a sad episode, guys. You know, speaking of happiness, it's emphasized how much of an asshole Sandriel is. When whatever you've seen is the pleasant version, the reality is 10 times worse. She's a sadistic monster. Like, and Bryce is offering an ear for him if he ever needs it. So she's softening towards Hunt too. Like when she sees how much Sandriel affects him. It's a love when Hunt asked Bryce what she wished for. Wished for when she was 13, and she wished for her boobs to get bigger. I just love her honesty. You know, that's probably what she like actually did wish for. So Bryce says, Crescent City, where dreams come true. And it just sounds like there's some supportive dreamer in her.
I
Big
agree.
tits, big dreams.
When you were 13, what do you think you would have wished for?
Less tits.
You want to know what I would have wished for? A front tooth.
You probably should explain it to people before. Like, I'm laughing at you wishing for a tooth, and so I sound like a big dick.
So I
am.
had surgery in 5th grade because there was an extra tooth blocking my permanent tooth to come down. So they took out my baby tooth in 5th grade as well as that extra dinosaur looking tooth. They're like, hey, the permanent tooth will just drop down. Now I had the surgery 5th grade in the spring. So I had one front tooth all the way until 8th grade when I was 13. Do you know how much character that builds? Middle school without a front tooth. Not only just middle school, I went to same hometown, same school district my whole life. And then I move in 7th grade. So I'm starting a new school without a front tooth. And I don't even get it. And my parents just apparently didn't give a shit. And I'm like, well, no, build character. We don't care. Let's go get drunk. And yeah, I got braces in 8th grade and they put a bracket on that bitch and it was down in 2 weeks. So I could have saved like 4 years of heartache. But thank God for Christina Aguilera's Beautiful that I sang in the mirror.
Honestly, thank God for that missing tooth because you're so funny now.
Yeah.
Not the
It
other
does.
trauma. That didn't affect it.
No, it does build character. Okay. Fucking tooth. 8th grade without a front tooth. Embarrassing. Speaking
It's
of,
brutal.
down at the Antiquities Library, study club is in session. That has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. Hunt was researching Crystallis demon, which he thinks
Queen
is a
of transitions, we both are.
he thinks is a type 6 demon. Type 7 demons are only for the princes themselves, so he assumes it's a type 6, but he hasn't found any similarities. Bryce mentions that he might be looking in the wrong spot because they're looking for something that hasn't entered this world in over 15,000 years. She decided to look at the ancient art in the database to try to find it, but told Rune to let his chosen one status lead him with the books. He couldn't help but notice the collection was amazing. Titles in common language, an old language of the Fae, the Mirror, and a few other alphabets he didn't realize. I said realize and I meant the word recognize, but that's fine. He reached for a book, Word of the Gods, but they yelled at him to not touch it because it might bite him, and he needs to ask permission. A book started calling to him, though. Great Romance of the Fae.
Lava, our favorite iPad kid, is just bursting at the seams to like tell them what the collection is. She is a child ready to tell you like what they got you for your birthday. Like, I love her, but girlfriend.
She's like, yeah, see this super secret library that you're not supposed to know anything about? Let me tell you the deets. She can't help it.
She's just so excited to have friends down there.
Why? It's a sad fucking episode now. I'm
This episode
pre-sad.
brought to you by tears. I'm pre-crying.
So Declan, he sent over all of Danica's movements 2 weeks before her death, and that girl was busy. When looking it over, they noticed that Danica wasn't on duty near Luna's temple, but she was stationed at the temple for 2 days before the horn was stolen and during the night of the blackout. They wondered if the person who stole the horn knew she saw and covered it up by murdering her, or if the horn scent was on her from being on duty and made the demon track her down. Talking is very hard right now. Just
Sure
FYI.
is.
Rune found something in his book, a 3-page account of Prince Peleus. I wrote pelicans again. I gotta start.
I saw that spelling error and I was like, I should fix this. And I was like, no, I enjoy pelicans.
I just want you to know, I do write Peleus, I write Peleus, but it switches it. I have a lot of typos left, but anyway. Rune found something in his book, a 3-page account of Prince Peleus and his bride, Lady Helena. He was the high general for a Fae queen named Thea. When they entered this world through the crossing, Helena was her daughter. Queen Thea was starborn, and her daughter possessed the same power. She also had a younger daughter with power, but only Helena gets mentioned. Night-haired Helena, from whose golden skin poured starlight and shadows. It seems like Peleus was one of a couple with starborn power. They were sacred Fae objects that were made for Fae with their power. Okay, if this is a drinking game, every time I say power, please drink. The horn worked only with starlight flowed through it when it was filled with power. This claims that starborn magic, in addition to a bunch of other crap, can be channeled through the sacred objects and bring them to life. This is why the Prince of the Pit had to steal Peleus' blood to make the Crystallis to hunt the horn. It contained that essence. This makes them realize they're looking for 2 different people, one who stole the horn and the killer. Just want to say the power that I kept saying, it was like word for what Sarah wrote. So I didn't write power a million times. She did.
It was 5 times. I made sure that I counted. I was like, they got it sips and not shots because you would be blacked out if we were playing a drinking game.
It's Sarah Janet's fault.
Night-haired Helena, from whose golden skin poured starlight and shadows?
Hmm.
Who else has night hair and golden skin when not stuck under a mountain?
It's really, really good point there, Kai. Hmm.
Just something to think about. Get your little gears grinding.
Grind those
Get your
gears.
gears
Good.
grinding. Yeah.
And we have mentioned Helena multiple times when it comes to Greek mythology, so fret not. We'll come back to that. They wonder why someone would want it because, according to the book, it is broken. In my head, I just pictured Kanye West talking about being broke, and I don't know why that came up. It can be repaired by light that is not light, magic that is not magic. They brought up the Autumn King and how he wants the horn because he feels like the Fae have been declining. His ancestors could burn entire forests to ash with half a thought, while he could torch a grove. Sounds familiar. He hates that his chosen power is barely more than a kernel. Bryce could sense Hunt could feel her disdain for the Autumn King, so she tried to keep him off track by telling her that her own father never had a lick of interest in her for the same reason, which Rune pipes in, especially after your visit with the Oracle. Fucking Oracle. Hunt wondered if they should ask the Oracle about the horn. Bryce and Rune weren't keen on that idea, and both said they weren't going. Hunt said he would go. He stepped out of the room to take a phone call. Rune told Bryce that her power levels never mattered to him. She asked him what his deal was with the Oracle. He told her nothing. She told me everything the Autumn King wanted to hear. He said he had an Ox meeting and he needed to prep for and would see her later. She got a text from Hunt that they need to go down the comitium in 5 minutes to get his things. Before they left, Lily broke all our hearts with, "It's nice to have company down here." Sad episode, guys.
I love her so much.
I know.
Okay. I want to talk about Lahava first. She's a wide shoes girly. She's definitely like working on her reverse harem too. Your cousin is dreamy, Lahab aside from her couch. I thought Athalar was your one true love, Bryce said. Can't they both be? Like, she is hardcore wide shoes.
Well, she
I love that
watches
for her. Be a hoe.
Fangs and Bangs. Fangs and Bangs have turned her into a wide
Lahoba.
shoe. I know. Lahoba. I used to make fun of Kylie because I was a very nice best friend. And when she was being slutty, I would say that she was highly contagious. And I'd call her Highly. And I just remembered that because we haven't talked about it for a long time. So, yeah. I used to be
When
more
you
of an
say
apple. No, you weren't really. It
being
was just,
slutty to clarify means like it's not like I was sleeping with a bunch of people. I just was talking to a lot of people. Keep my
yeah.
options really, really open.
And
It was
so was I. So I
lots
wasn't judging. We were both slutty in our own little way.
to be fair, I did get mono twice. Not at that time. It was like I was 18, not 19, not my highly years, but 18 is when I got mono. I got it senior year once, and then I got it after I graduated.
See? Highly
Awesome.
contagious. Not that far off. Speaking of your slutty years,
Speaking of hoes, thinking about ACOTAR, let's connect them. Not hoes in ACOTAR, but I mean, yeah, I guess we're connecting hoes in ACOTAR and hoes in Crescent City. It's said in the book, this whole section is about your fancy Abelian cousins, shadow walking, mind reading. I'm surprised they don't claim they're starborn. And this part of the chapter is just screaming for us to start connecting things to the night court. In ACOTAR, mind readers are called Damati. Those of us who can walk into another person's mind as if we're going from one room to another. We're rare, and the traits appear as the mother wills it. The mother? That's a quote from ACOTAR, not Crescent City. So we can just see the worlds overlapping and starting to connect. And I love the building of it. It's really exciting.
speaking of Ellen, so I just want to talk about it for a bit because we'll dive deeper into it when we get into later books as we visit them. But Avellin is similar to Avalon, the Isle of Apples from the King Arthur lore. Avalon was said to be a place of healing and rebirth. It was also where Excalibur was forged. It's shrouded by mist and inaccessible to most people. which sounds quite similar to a vellum, if you ask me.
A sword was forged?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Wonder where
No
that started.
connections at all.
No. And this is why we bring up the mythology of things, is because Sarah Janet cannot help herself.
Oh, connected. I don't know why I whispered it. I'm so sorry. Why do I have to make things weird?
You can't help it.
Chapter 30, and it's a short one, guys. Bryce and Hunt headed to the commitum where everyone stared at Bryce's ass. Good for her. They get into the elevator and head up to grab Hunt's shit. On the way there, they stop to get Bryce a new phone. While waiting, she used Hunt's phone to scroll the news. She creeped naturally and noticed that after 4 years, the psychopath had only 36 photos, one of which was a severed leg. She then took a selfie, so he was less of a weirdo. This interaction's so cute because it becomes their little like inside thing throughout the book. And I mean it's used against him, but that's neither here nor there. So Blake, how many photos do you have on your phone?
I only have one phone right now. I'm not in my hoe days, so one phone. And photos, I have thousands. I
I'm
can't
literally
look up
checking.
how many you have.
I have just about 31,000. I'm 60 photos shy. And about 28,000 is of cats.
Better than severed legs.
It spans over years, though, to be fair. Not just 4 years. No severed legs, but definitely some knee injuries and ankle injuries in there. So Hunt and I really just am cool on Hunt.
Well, maybe you didn't like him because he was too much like you. And same with Bryce. You're just like, no. Because you're such a bro, Kai.
Yes, such a bro. What up?
What up, dog? You got that dog in you, girl.
In the elevator, they chit chat about if Hunt is single. He is at the moment, guys. He's also not real.
Shit.
He shares he is a bastard, so despite being a hottie, he feels like he doesn't have much to offer. He shares that he made the drop at 28 after his mom died and says, "It didn't make a difference if I'd inherited the power of an archangel or a dormouse. Once the tattoos got inked on me 5 years later, it cut me off at the knees." Then Bryce asks if he regrets the Angel's rebellion, but Hunt has never been asked that, so he doesn't know what to think. I want to point out that upon arriving to his room, Hunt does not decorate. Once again, here we are, the same. I mean, it was bad luck to put down roots, but whatever.
As someone who lived in 22 different houses by the time I was 18, I get it, Hunt. I've lived in this house, though, for 8 years, and I'm still like painting? That seems like a commitment. Won't do it.
We were told we could paint our house when we moved in because we have a rental, but it's been 8 years and I finally painted 2 years ago and haven't even fixed what's been messed up.
We own this house, and I'm like, no, not sure if I can do this. This is a commitment. I think I feel like if I paint, then we're going to move. I don't know. It makes no sense. Fucking idiot.
Not painting is safe.
I'm really realizing these inner trauma choices coming out here, and it's decorating. See, I was never
I
the
think
one.
that's probably why that drama was so triggering for you. I definitely did not say that. And I was, just being bamboozled.
Definitely bamboozled there. I'm like, no.
Bryce is feeling ballsy and nosy because she asked if Micah had died. If Micah had died instead of her saving him, what would happen? Hunt tells her that his ownership would be passed on to whomever takes over. Turns out that they have a commonality in pissing people off. It's a beautiful start to a friendship as well. When Hunt finished packing, they got the A-OK to see Briggs. They head down the elevator, and who's in the lobby? That bitch, Sandy. Just give her the ominous name.
Fucking Sandy.
We get a story about Danica and Bryce in this chapter. Bryce and Danica had once spent 2 solid summer weeks of lunch breaks sitting on a rooftop adjacent to a Legion training space. I was going to say space heater. Like, that was the word that was going to come out next. Because it says, with the heat, the male angels had stripped down to their pants while they sparred and then got sweaty. Very, very sweaty. She and Danica would have kept going every lunch hour if they hadn't been caught by the building's janitor, who called them perverts and permanently locked access to the roof. And it sucks that everyone dies immediately in this book, and all we get is glimpses of their friendship, because I think they're funny friends.
I feel like you and I definitely would have not Legion space heaters, but like we would have went and watched and for sure.
100% would have creeped, and I would have been like all for it.
Yeah, it would have been during
I
our
probably would have been the reason that we got caught.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Chapter 31. Hunt stuck it to the man and refused to bow to Sandy, which caused Bryce to have to step in and save the day by acting like a vapid party girl and pretending that she was just in it for the gram. And then she linked his arms with him and they were on their merry way. They got to the elevator and Micah was already there, probably stomping his Crocs, asking him to explain himself. But now I just picture Legally Blonde. Don't stomp your little lassies and Crocs at me, honey.
I quote that a lot.
Me too. Bryce tried to double down on her shitty lie. Hunt told him that he had to pick up supplies and clothes, and Isaiah gave him the go-ahead to bring her there. Isaiah quickly backed that up, including his ass. Micah's gaze roved over her body. Ick. She told him it was nice to see him again. Micah purred, "I would like to take you out to dinner, Bryce Quinlan." Bryce's response as the door closed, "Not interested."
Okay, 2 things about Bryce. Shout out for her quick fucking thinking. Not only, well, it didn't really do her any favors, but like, really, what else could they do in that moment? There was like no other thing they could do. And shout out to her for turning down Micah. Micah's gaze Micah's gaze roved over her body, her face. She knew that gaze, that slow, steady. This moment in the story is when I was 100% like got the ick and knew he was like not good. But Bryce's balls on her for saying not interested. Would you fuck Micah? In Crocs or out of Crocs? Your choice.
If I were,
Because he's a hottie, super hottie.
Crocs would have to be in sport mode if we were going to. I don't want those things falling off. Okay. But I don't like him in general. Like even like reading this, I'm like not a fan. So what about you?
If the Crocs are on, it's got to be from behind, so I don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
That's as best as we're getting. And I would have to not be married. Like, I guess we'll start there.
Naturally.
Goes without saying.
Hunt is like, okay, we need to let these Crocs dangle. But fret not, I have never dropped anyone. He thanked her. Thought you'd like that.
I'm horrified. Absolutely horrified at just those words together. Like, because now I have the visual again and I just don't like it. You're a monster.
True. He thanked her for saving him back there and complimented her ridiculous but effective thinking. He asked her why she lives in Old Square. She explains it's the heart of the city and it's the only safe place for someone like her to live. Hunt truly can't help himself and was like, "So, you really meant you weren't interested in Micah? Newsom?" She's like, "Yeah, no thanks." He was like, "So, you going to come with me to the Oracle tomorrow?" And Bryce was like, "Oh no, Athalar, you get to deal with her all on your own." But I just, once again, these two are so stupid because they so are into each other. But he's like, can't help himself. Like, so you really weren't interested in Micah? I don't care or anything, but you weren't?
He's like really trying to play it cool. Soup's cool.
Soup.
I don't say that.
I really fucked you up with the Crocs dangling. I apologize.
You really did. Anything that was in my mind just like flew out. Because, yeah, now we're back on that visual of treading air, Crocs, Imagine if he forgot to put him in sport mode while flying
Oh my God.
and
And
they
he's
just
just like,
fall. It's raining Crocs.
and then that's like how people are dying a
And then
lot.
Atheon has a Croc littering problem.
Hmm. And
Steel-toed
like,
Crocs.
still,
That's the angel
he's got
ones.
he's got special steel-toed Crocs for the Legion, like, and
When
he's
he puts on, his helmet, yeah, he's got the steel-toed.
why are we the way we are?
So it's safe to say that he was not flying in sport mode with Bryce because the duffel strapped across his chest awkwardly banged against his thigh. So I think that removes that visual.
Yeah. If he's, yeah. Ugh,
So those feet be dangling.
he'd be dangling.
Chapter 32. Another brief one, guys. They went back to the gallery where Bryce found nothing. Hunt asked to watch the Sunball game at her house, and Bryce is shocked at the normalcy of the shadow of death being into Sunball. She assumed he cursed at the stars and brooded and plotted revenge on all your enemies, which this is a really niche reference. But if you watch 30 Rock, it's giving Liz Lemon and Buzz Aldrin yelling at the moon. And that's a reference my sister will love.
Shout out to Amber. So one of the reasons why Kai didn't like Hunt was because he is such a bro. But I have to say, I always like this because this is probably a controversial ick for me. But when men don't like sports, it's an ick. I grew up in a very sports heavy family. Both of my parents were coaches. My mom coached college volleyball and basketball. And I grew up in a gym, literally. So men liking sports is a must for me. So I'm like, you should like Hunt, but Kylie doesn't care. I once dated a guy in high school, though, and I saw him shoot a basketball, and it was so fucking bad that I literally almost broke up with him. But instead, I stayed for 5 years on and off, and I got one good thing out of it, but I should have listened to my gut. I just have to say that. So I'm into him being a bro.
They were almost back at the apartment when Hunt's phone rang. It was bitch boss, never boss bitch. My God. He had another assignment for Hunt and threatened the offer still stands, Athalar. Don't make me reconsider. What a dick. Hunt tells Bryce that he has some things to do and Justinian will tag team in for babysitter. She knew what was up and told him good luck. Hunt did some murdering of a male cougar shifter. Interesting detail to share. When he arrived back at the apartment, Bryce was in her room but came out and told him that she recorded the game for him. Hunt went into his room and said goodnight. That was such a small but kind gesture from Bryce. And also, once again, we're ending on a sad note.
I know. But good life advice because Hunt says he crawled out of the boiling hot shower and into the person he was when he wasn't forced to put a bullet between someone's eyes. So the life advice is one, don't put a bullet in between someone's eyes. Also, want to mention that sometimes just taking a shower is a good reset. It's great life advice. And that's how we're going to end it rather than being sad. Don't murder and take hot showers.
Yeah. Take a hot shower. It'll make you feel better.
Mhm.
Yes. Thanks for hanging out with us as we continue our journey through Crescent City. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Join us next week as we talk chapters 33 through 40.
Have you joined our community of Hi Ladies? It's our virtual book club where we are currently binging the series that started it all for us, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Jane at Maas. Expect extra videos, discussion questions, and just the best time. I'm also going over Quicksilver over there because it's my first time reading. And don't forget to follow us on social medias for all our latest updates, theories, and not saying it. Make sure you give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals, and we'll see you next week.